Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom lechem. Shabbat shalom lechem. We give thanks to Yah for all those who come from near and far, for the family of Cohane as well as many, many others who have come from the same city of Charlotte, but Yah gave us the life to be able to be here. Thank the sisterhood for the wonderful breakfast that we got to enjoy. We can give them a hand for that. We can be full. We can feast now on the word of Yah, and so let us even face the east to recite the Chumah, asking Yah to stand in our midst. Chumah, Yehovah, Veyafusu oevecha, Veyanusu mistanecha mipanecha. Chumah, Yehovah, Veyafusu oevecha, Veyanusu mistanecha mipanecha. Chumah, Yehovah, Veyafusu oevecha, Veyanusu mistanecha mipanecha. We ask, rise up, O Yah, and let thine enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee from before thee. Rise up, O Yehovah, and let thine enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee from before thee. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. On page 1 we have our prayers, which read, Baruch Yehovah Baboker, Baruch Yehovah Besoharaim, Baruch Yehovah Be'erev, Baruch Yehovah Balayla, Baruch Yehovah Yom Yom, Ubaruch Yehovah Tamid, Yehovah Elohim Ubavakasha, L'soach lanu lekol devarim ra'im she'asinu lefanecha Yom Yom, Liot imanu kol hayom hazeh, Lema'an Shemcha Yehovah, Elohei Abraham, Yitzchak u'Yisrael, Elohei Avinu Elohim, לשמוע בקולנה, אם תרצה אותך למען שמך יהוה. And we say, blessed be Yah in the morning, blessed be Yah in the afternoon, blessed be Yah in the evening, blessed be Yah at night, blessed be Yah every day, and blessed be Yah always. Yah, our Elohim, please forgive us for all evil things we have done, and be with us all this day for thy name's sake, Yah, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel. The Elohim of our fathers and my Elohim, hearken unto my voice, I pray thee, if it pleaseth thee, for thy name's sake. Hallelujah! 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 Shabbat shalom lechem. Shabbat shalom lechem. We celebrated the beginning of the month of Bul, Chodesh Hashemini, the 8th month. I believe this is the 3rd day of the month. We give thanks to Yah also for the opening up of the book to read about the life of Noakh, and where we came from, who we are, and how the nations of the world and their languages came to be. Let us give thanks to Yah for this day of Shabbat, with Zeh HaShabbat, Sameach Ani. Zeh HaShabbat, Sameach Ani. Zeh HaShabbat, Sameach Ani. Zeh HaShabbat, Sameach Ani. Ani Ohev Hayom Shel Hashem. מי אנחנו? בני עפר ואפר שאנחנו נעמוד בפניך, יא מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Who are we but dust and ashes to stand before you, the King of the kings of kings, the Holy One, blessed be he. And yet we know that you are merciful and that you love to hear the cries of your servants. That when we turn to you, you turn unto us, O Yah. And we thank you for that relationship. That you said that what nation is there that has Elohim that is so close to it as Yah, your Elohim, who is in your midst. Thank you for being in our midst. We thank you for the week that we've enjoyed and even keeping us to see the end of the holy 7th month and the beginning of the 8th month of the year. And even so, just the change of that month, we see the change of the seasons. We give you thanks, O Yah, for the change of those seasons and keeping our family safe during the storms. We give you thanks for protecting us from the mentality of death and wickedness and witchcraft and sorcery which pervaded the earth, and now they're preparing to celebrate the birth of a man called God. And yet, we know that this is the day you have made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it, yeah? That as they celebrate darkness and the cold and evil, we celebrate your goodness this day. The light that you said that Israel should be to the nations, O Yah, that dwell in a land of darkness. The prophet Noakh was a man who exemplified this, and we ask that you would open our eyes, that we would, as you said, perceive wonders out of your Torah this day as we study the very familiar history of Noakh. Please strengthen those who teach to show us the light of how this affects our lives today. Who people are, where they came from, where did these languages come from, and who are you, and how did we become confused? So many answers to so many profound questions are to be found in today's portion. We give you thanks for revealing our history to us so that we can be ambassadors for you and to again be a light to these nations that have questions in this dark time. Blessed be your high and holy name, now and forevermore. Hallelujah! 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 Your high! Your high! Your high! Your high! Your high! Your high! Let us declare the oneness of Elohim together. O Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Eloheinu. O Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad. O Baruch Shem Yehovah, Baruch Kolei Olam, Baruch Kolei Olam, Kolei Olam. O Baruch Shem Yehovah, Baruch Kolei Olam, Hallelujah. 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 Please have a seat and silence your phones as we now enter into the high part of our morning service, the prayers and the meditation, and the word of God. Let's pray together. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our power, and blessed be the works of thy hands. And the heavens and the earth were finished. and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Yah finished his work, which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day and hallowed it, because that in it he rested from all his works, which Yah in creating had made. O thou who art most holy, look upon thy people in mercy. Hear thou us, O power of Abraham. Nurture us, O power of Yitzchak. Save us, we implore thee, O power of Israel. Blot us not out, O Yah, though our sins be many. Cast our evil doings into the bottomless pit, to remain forevermore. Our hope is in thee, O Yah, and without thy mercy we have none. Father of wisdom, thou dispenser of knowledge, cause our hearts to discern and our minds to retain thy law. Bless Israel to know thee as we did in the days of yore. Let the sign of the Shabbat shine brightly from this thy house, and from us thy people Israel. Let our voices mingle with the hosts of heaven, as we joyfully proclaim. Blessed be the name of our power, and blessed be his holy name. Hallelujah. Let us sing the Shema. Shema Israel. This is the day which Jehovah has made, and we will be glad and rejoice thereon. Unto thee do I lift up mine eyes, O thou that art enthroned in the heavens. Ascribe unto Jehovah the glory due unto his name. Worship Jehovah in the beauty of holiness. In thee, O Yah, do I take refuge. Let me never be ashamed. Thou hast given us joy in the place of sorrow. Thy truth is like a heady wine. Shout for joy, O ye children of Israel. Proclaim the name of our King, to whom the sun doth shine and the winds sing. Jehovah is our sun and shield. Who then could master us? To thee, power of our fathers, do we give honor and glory. For who is now beside thee? Be thou our judge, O Yah, against the ungodly nations. Save us all, our King, we beseech thee. Then shall we come clapping, singing, jumping, shouting, praising, time, and song our King. For with thee is the fountain of life, and in thy light do we see light. Thy loving kindness guides in the heavens, thy faithfulness reaches unto the skies. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore in peace. For Jehovah loveth justice and forsaketh not his holy ones. Hallelujah. Amen. Let us sing the Shema. Shema Israel. You're always Where is the power of Abraham, who did call our father from Chaldea? Art thou not he, O power of Israel? Where is the power of Yitzchak, who did bless him with the righteousness of God? Thou art one and the same, who knoweth him who changed Jacob's name. Thou, O Yah, will forever remain. Though Yosef sojourned in Egypt, yet did all men show him favor. Thy hand, O Yah, was with him. Thou didst help Moshe in Israel against Pharaoh, who stood up the mighty Red Sea. Manna dropped from heaven to sustain thy people in the wilderness. They fashioned a calf to bow down to, yet to Israel didst thou show mercy. We give thanks unto thee, O Yah, and we will tell of thy wondrous works. In him Yah is Yah known, his name is great in Israel. His foundation is in the holy mountains. We will sing of the mercies of Yahweh forever. Unto all generations we will make them to be known. Stay thou, O Yah, in the midst of us. Cause righteousness once more to be sown. So shall the heavens praise thy wonders, Yah. Thy faithfulness in the holy assembly. Let Israel awaken the day with their praises. Glory to Yah, now and forevermore. Amen. Sing Shema. Shema. Israel.
Preserve me from mine enemies. Send out thine angels to protect me. O thou that hearest prayer. And with thy mighty hand, Yah, subdue all those that hate us. Remember us in mercy, Yah, and pardon all our transgressions. Except our power does bless us, how we hope to prosper. Unless our Creator protect us, we are as if we had not been. Stay thy hand, O death, for he doth forgive our iniquities. So will I sing praises to his name, that I may perform my vows. The dead praise not Yahweh, nay, nor any that go down to silence. Let us extol our power while we have life. Sing praises to our power while we have any being. Together we will lift up our voices and gratefully sing. Withhold not thy voice from extolling our Maker. Let young and old praise him together. Let the tribes come near and testify. Even the tribes of Israel, the mighty of Yahweh. Say among the nations, Yahweh reigneth. Thy power, Israel, over all the world. For Yahweh not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thy house, now, O Yah, and forevermore. Hallelujah. Shema Yisrael, Yahovah, Eloheinu, Yahovah,
energy, we now turn our hearts and our minds to the words of Yah speaking to us in the Hebrew language. And so we enter into the Torah service. As a reminder, our custom here is to make sure that after we sing HaTorah until the end of the Haftarah, we don't go in and out. So if you have to excuse yourself, please do so as we sing the song. HaTorah on page 6. HaTorah.
Baruch Hashem Shel Yahovah.
Baruch Yahovah Yom Yom. Baruch Yahovah Tamid. Ubaruch Haba Likra'ei HaTorah.
Ve'ani lepani chaya shenatan lanu et HaTorah. Amen.
Sisters may be seated. All males rise for the recitation of the Torah. We have now the second of 54 parashiot, Parashat Noakh. We're going to read from the Hebrew, in the Hebrew from chapter 11 of Bereshit, starting at verse 10, ending at verse 32, which is basically the end of chapter 11. So again, we're going to be in chapter 11, Sefer Bereshit, Perek Yod as Hadasar, chapter 11. We're going to start at Pasuk 10, verse 10, al Pasuk 32. Until verse 32. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Ele toledot Shem, Shem ben me'at shana, ויולדת ארפחשד, שנתיים אחר המבול. ויחי שם אחרי הולידות ארפחשד, 500 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. וארפחשד חי 35 שנה, ויולדת שלח. ויחי ארפחשד אחרי הולידות שלח 3 שנים 400 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arpachshad. 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Arpachshad 500 years, and begot sons and daughters. And Arpachshad lived 530 years, and begot Shelah. And Arpachshad lived after he begot Shelah 403 years, and begot sons and daughters.
Amen. Modim אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד. נקרא את אחינו נתניהו בן לוי ישראל.
אני פה ברוך שם של יהוה.
ברוך יהוה יום יום, ברוך יהוה תמיד, וברוך הבא לקראת התורה.
מודה אני לפניך יהוה אלוהינו נתן לנו את התורה.
Amen. We're on verse 14. פסוק הבא.
ושלח חי 30 שנה ויולד את עבר. ויחי שלח אחרי הולידו את עבר 3 שנים ו400 שנה. ויולד בנים ובנות. ויחי עבר 34 שנה ויולד את פלג.
Amen.
And Shelah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Shelah lived after he begot Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years and begot Peleg.
Amen. Modim אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד. נקרא את אחינו ענאל בן אלוף עזריה בן יהודה בן ישראל.
אני פה ברוך השם של יהוה.
ברוך יהוה יום יום, ברוך יהוה תמיד, וברוך הבא לקראת התורה.
מודה אני לפניך יהוה אלוהינו נתן לנו את התורה.
We're on verse 17, פסוק 17. זין.
וכי עבר 4 ו30
וכי עבר אחרי.
וכי עבר אחרי הולידו את פלג 30 שנה ו400 שנה ויולד בנים ובנות. וכי פלג 30 שנה ויולד את רעו. וכי פלג אחרי הולידו את רעו 9 שנים ו200 שנה ויולד בנים ובנות.
Amen.
Hallelujah. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years and begot sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. And Peleg lived after he begot Reu 209 years and begot sons and daughters.
Hallelujah. Modim אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד.
נקרא את הבחור אל יפה בן נורית אבל בן לוי בן ישראל.
ברוך יהוה יום יום, ברוך יהוה תמיד, וברוך הבא לקראת התורה.
אנחנו בפרק כ' 20, or in English numbers verse 20.
וכי ראו שתיים ו30 שנה ויולד את סרוד. וכי ראו אחרי הולידו את סרוד 7 שנים ו200 שנה ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהי סירוב 30 שנה, ויולד את נחור.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
And Reu lived 230 years and begot Serug. And Reu lived after he begot Serug 207 years and begot sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor.
Amen.
מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד.
נקרא את אחותינו. דניאל האשת אח נתניהו בן לוי בן ישראל.
ברוך יהוה יום יום ברוך יהוה תמיד וברוך אתה לקראי התורה.
Amen. On verse 23, Kaf Gimel, 23. ויהי סירוב.
ויהי נחור
23 said it.
ויהי סירוב 30 שנה.
Akh Khayil.
23.
סליחה. ויהי סירוב אחרי ולידו את נחור 200 שנה ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהי נחור 9 ועשרים ויולד את סרח. ויהי נחור אחרי ולידו את סרח 19 שנה ומת שנה ויולד
Amen.
Hallelujah. And Serug lived after he begot Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 920 years and begot Terach. And Nahor lived after he begot Terach 119 years and begot sons and daughters.
Amen. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד.
נקרא את הבכורה ידעה בת מורה תבל בן לוי בן ישראל.
אני פה ברוך השם של יהוה.
ברוך יהוה יום יום ברוך יהוה תמיד וברוך הבא לקראי התורה.
Amen.
ויהי תרח 70 שנה וילד את אברהם את נחור ואת הרן ואלה תולדות תרח. תרח הוליד את אברהם
Amen.
נחור ואת הרן והרן הוליד את לוט. וימת הרן על פני תרח אביו בארץ מולדתו בעוד
Kasdim, תודה.
Hallelujah. And Terach lived 70 years and begot Avram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generation of Terach. Terach begot Avram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot. And Haran died in the presence of his father Terach, in the land of his nativity, in Ur of Chaldees.
Amen.
מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם
יצחק ויעבור לעולם ועד. נקראת המפטיר לפרשת נוח, נקראת אחינו חייל בן בנימין בן ישראל. ברוך יהוה יום יום, ברוך יהוה תמיד, וברוך הבא לקרוא את התורה.
Ode ani lefoneka Yehovah Eloheinu natan lanu et haTorah.
Hallelujah.
Waikwak Avram, winakor lahem, Nashim Shem Eshet Avram, Sarai Weshem Eshet Napor, Milka Baharam, Avi Milka, Wa Avi Iska, Wat He Sarai, Akora, Ein La Wala. Waikwak Tera et Avram, Beno we et Lot. Bain hara, bain beno ve'et sarai, halato, eshet Avram, beno vayetzu itam, me'or kasdim, laliket, arza kena'am, vayavo'u ad, karam, vayeshvu shah, vayiyu, Yemei Terak, Kamesh, Shanim, Umatayim, Shana, Wayamat, Terak, Beikara.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. And Abraham and Nakhor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nakhor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, the father of Iscah. And Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abram, his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came into Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years. And Terah died in Haran.
מודים אנחנו בה שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב לעולם ועד.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'd first like to thank the Creator for allowing me to be here. What a challenge it was to be here. Brotherhood, you may have a seat. In addition, it's no light thing to come before the Creator's people. And I always like to give the Creator thanks and thank Him for His mercy and His kindness that He continually shows towards me and towards the house of Israel. Today we're going to be in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54. And we're going to cover chapter 54 through chapter 55, verse 5. And as you're finding your way there, I always like to give a little background as to where we are and what's going on in our history before we dive right into the portion. But for many of you, you may be thinking to yourselves, haven't I heard this several times already? And we should be very familiar with the book of Isaiah and this background because Isaiah is referenced 15 times for HaTorah portions. And chapter 54 alone is referenced at least 3 times. So this made me wonder that there's got to be something here that we need to make sure we get our arms around as it relates to our relationship with the Creator. As you think about the book as a whole, the first 39 chapters provide a message of judgment against the northern and the southern tribes.
Yes.
Now, Isaiah is trying his best to share with us to turn away from our sin and to turn back towards the Creator. Now, he's prophesying that the Assyrians and the Babylonians and other nations are going to come against us and execute the Creator's judgment.
Right.
And his purpose is, is to make sure that we, get an understanding of this, but we just keep ignoring it. Now, the next 27 chapters are focused totally on forgiveness and hope. So, out of the 15 times that Isaiah is referenced as it relates to Haftorah portions, 12 of these messages address forgiveness and hope. So I'm thinking that's got to be part of our relationship with the Creator, that we need to understand the forgiveness and the hope aspect.
Amen.
I'm sorry, Akh Khayil, it's so good to see you.
Amen.
I wasn't feeling good, but I'm okay now. I'm okay now. So good to see you. All right, but so again, we can conclude that forgiveness and hope is something that we need to get our arms around. So we're going to dive into this, and I'm going to start by taking verse 1.
In the book of Isaiah, also known as Yeshayahu, chapter 54, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear, break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yah.
All right, we can deal with this. So this is prophecy about our future. So Isaiah is using an analogy by comparing a barren woman to the nation of Israel. Now, during those times, a married woman was somewhat ashamed if she didn't have children immediately, because she was supposed to be fruitful. But this analogy is specific to us as a people. This was the nation of Israel. The Creator is the husband, and we are the wife. So we were supposed, as a people, we were supposed to be fruitful, but we were not. The Creator gave this prophecy to Isaiah, knowing that we were not going to turn away from our wickedness. And at some point, Nebuchadnezzar was going to come in and take Jerusalem and carry us off into captivity. And as a result, Isaiah is providing this message of hope, of things that were to come. Now, during a period of captivity, we're not going to be fruitful. So at that point, where's the Cohane? Were they rightfully established? No. Where were our doctors, lawyers? Where were our craftsmen, our blacksmiths? Where were our scientists and architects? Where were we at this point? We were supposed to be a nation leading the people.
Right.
But we're about to get drug off into captivity. And Nebuchadnezzar was only going to leave the poorest of our people behind. So the land was going to be desolate, meaning we were unfruitful at that time. So the Creator is letting us know in what is yet to come that we need to prepare ourselves. Those that are desolate, we're going to end up with more children than those that were married. So although Isaiah is speaking to these people at a present time, he's also sharing with them, this is what's to come.
Yeah.
Let's cover verses 2 and 3.
Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thy habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. But thou shalt spread abroad on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall possess the nations, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited.
All right, so the Creator is now saying, make room in your homes by lengthening the cords. Now, the cords are those thin ropes at the bottom of the tent. And of course, the ropes are tied to stakes that are put into the ground to stabilize the tent. So the Creator is saying to us, we got to make room for all these new people.
That's right.
So we need to spread out to the right and to the left, because after the captivity, the city of Jerusalem was going to be repopulated all over again. So he wanted us to know to continue to have faith and hope during this time of our captivity, so we wouldn't lose our desire to return home.
That's right.
And we need to relate that thought to where we are today, so that we don't ever lose our desire to return home. I know many of us have gone back and forth to our land, and we, as often as we visit, that desire to go must strengthen with every visit. And for those who haven't had the opportunity to visit, that has to be a top priority of things to do in your life to return home.
That's right.
4 through 6.
Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and the reproach of the widowhood shalt thou remember no more. For thy Maker is thy husband. Yah Zebaoth is his name. And the Holy One of Israel is thy Redeemer. The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. For Yah have called thee as a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth can she be rejected? Saith Yah.
See, the Creator again is letting us know he abandoned Israel for a moment. And this is like a wife losing her husband or a young wife being rejected. However, the Creator is still claiming us because he can't tolerate our sin. And it was, we have to keep in mind, we were blatantly sinning against the Creator. And that's what separates us from the Creator. But repenting returns us to the Creator. So in this experience, we experience joy when we repent. And the Creator is asking us, who can reject the wife of his youth? You ask any man, he cannot forget his first love. That when you initially fall in love, that is something that either will bless you for the rest of your life or pain you for the rest of your life. But a man can't forget her. He cannot forget her. And the Creator said, I cannot forget you. Who can possibly do this? But again, he cannot tolerate our sin. We must turn away from our sin, repent, and turn back to the Creator. 7 through 10.
For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great compassion will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment. But with everlasting kindness will I have compassion on thee, saith Yah thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noakh unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noakh shall no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains may depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall my covenant of peace be removed. Saith Jehovah that have compassion on thee.
So the Creator is saying to us now that our punishment only lasted a little while. But he recognized that our punishment wasn't easy because with great compassion, he rescued us. Now, in verse 8, we have to recognize how insignificant we can be at times. And what I mean by this, the Creator can easily find a replacement team. We are his first pick, but we can be replaced. He says in verse 8, in a little wrath, I hid my face from thee for a moment. Then in verse 9, the Creator compares his little wrath to the waters of Noah. Now, so this is the connection to today's portion. But what happened concerning the waters of Noah? Everybody died, except for one family and two of every kind of animal. Everybody died. That lets me know if you don't want to get connected with these laws, statutes, and commandments, we can find somebody else. The Creator can find somebody else. Everybody died. So this was a little wrath that just struck me as, whoa, I better get it together. This is nothing to be toyed with. This is nothing to be playing with. And if we're not on board with keeping these commandments, we will get replaced. The good news is that the Creator made a covenant with Noah, one that we still see today. But this doesn't mean we will go unpunished for our sins, because there are other instances throughout history, and of course with this prophecy, that the Creator will deal with sin. Because this upcoming trip to Babylon, 70 years in captivity. And you think about how long you've been here in the United States. 246 years slavery here. Sin will not go unpunished. It will. And again, a little wrath, no joke. This is serious business. Let's move on to 11 through 13.
O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. Behold, I will set thy stones in fair colors, and lay the foundations with sapphires, and I will make thy pinnacles of rubies, and thy gates of carbuncle, and thy borders of precious stones. And all thy children shall be taught of Yah, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shall thou be established.
That's good right there. The Creator is acknowledging that we have gone through a refining process, and now he's going to restore our wealth, and we're going to inherit this glorious home. I mean, this passage can take several meanings, but to me, it signifies that we, at some point, have now reached a higher spiritual level, and that we're now prepared to dwell in the beautiful promised land. Because we just can't go back to our land with the same mindset that we can do whatever we want, when we want, and still have this perfect peace and all this wealth. No, you have to know how to handle wealth. You have to know how to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments so that we can have a righteous relationship with our Creator. And he's going on to say that he will teach our children and they will enjoy his perfect peace. But I think every parent in here has a desire for the next generation to go ahead of what they were able to accomplish while they were here on this earth. So if we are connecting ourselves properly with the Creator, this is exactly what can happen to our future. 14 through 15.
In righteousness shalt thou be established. Be thou far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear. And from ruin, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they may gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall be gathered together against thee shall fall because of thee.
So no creation will succeed against us. So the Creator is letting us know that he will not be behind whoever decides to come up against us. See, the only time an enemy can prevail against us is when the Creator is with them. So if you look through our history, whether it be the Assyrians, the Babylonians, or the Europeans, they couldn't do what they did without, well, a couple things had to happen. First, we had to sin.
Right.
Because the Creator had no desire for us to go through this.
Right.
We had to be sinning first. But because we wouldn't turn away from our sin, we're going to get corrected. So these are instruments of the Creator. So when we keep these commandments, we stay connected with the Creator. We don't have to worry about this. These words are true.
Amen.
Verse 16.
Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the fire of coals, and bringeth forth a weapon for his work, and I created the waster to destroy.
See, right there, the terms smith and waster, they identify specific people. In this case, that's the king of Assyria and the king of Babylon. Their purpose was, they were created for one purpose, and that was to correct us. And to annihilate other nations. And they did just that. But the Creator empowered them to destroy us as punishment for our wickedness. If we aren't wicked, they had no purpose.
Right.
Amen.
Verse 17.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise up against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yah, and their due reward from me, saith Yahweh.
Now, these words are used as a mantra of protection for many different cultures. I mean, Fred Hammond, if you listen to Christian
mantra,
whatever. But Fred made a beautiful song, "No Weapon Formed Against Thee Shall Prosper." I mean, that song sold millions and millions of copies. But we need to understand, this is a covenant blessing of protection.
That's right.
Only when we keep the terms of our agreement with the Creator. I need to take a minute with this, because you don't have to respond, but I want you to think about this. Are guns a weapon against us? Yeah. How about drugs in our neighborhoods? And I'm speaking of the majority of where we live. I mean, I know some of us live in some very nice places and you think you can walk up and down the street and nothing happens, but drugs are there too. How about liquor stores predominantly in our neighborhoods versus other places? How about the welfare system designed to control us? Are those weapons formed against us? Yes. Are they not prosper? No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. That's what this prophecy says. But there are weapons formed against us that are prospering every day. How about this school to prison pipeline is that not a weapon formed against us? Is it not prospering? So my few stats, and this is for my young men specifically. 40% of students expelled from school are black. 70% of students involved in in-school arrests are black or brown. Black students, 3.5 times more likely to be suspended than white students. Black and brown students are twice as likely not to graduate from high school. So why is this important? Because 68% of all males in state or federal prison don't have a high school diploma. So there's a weapon that's being formed against us to make sure that we don't reach our full potential. They were rather you have this pathway straight from school into prison. So I bring this up because there's a correlation between not having an education and going to prison.
Amen.
That's a weapon. And this is just one example. There are many other weapons formed against us that are prospering every day. But how do we turn these? So these weapons are not having the impact that they're currently having. What do we do? And the answer is simple for us. We must live this law. There are no other options for it. This whole portion is about a covenant agreement. It's about a contract that we have with the Creator. There is no way that we can get out of it. This is our way of life. So the point is, the only way to protect ourselves and future generations from these weapons is that we have to be focused on the Creator. So I don't want you walking out of here singing this happy song, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and thinking nothing will ever come against us. They're coming against us every day. Right. But our answer is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Creator. Right.
Ho! Everyone that thirsteth, come ye for water. And he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk, without money and without price.
Oh, see, that's nice. See, I love that. The food, wine, Hennessy, milk, all that costs money. That costs money. But these items meet physical needs, and they're temporary. They only come you for a short period of time. Right. But the Creator is offering us free nourishment that feeds our soul, that feeds our spirit. And again, laws, statutes, and commandments of the Creator. That's what we need. If without this, we will starve spiritually.
Right. That's right.
And how do we get this nourishment? It's outlined right here. First, we must go to the Creator. You must turn from whatever it is you're relying upon and turn directly to the Creator. Verse 2.
Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your gain for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
So he's saying you have to listen. Once you go to the Creator, listen to what is being told to you and delight yourself in abundance. Hearken diligently means listen carefully. That's all it means. Listen carefully. Finish it.
And incline your ear, and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of Dawid.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Even the sure mercies of Dawid. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the peoples, a prince and a commander to the peoples. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and a nation that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of Jehovah thy power, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
So what's the benefit of listening to the Creator? He will make an everlasting covenant with you like the one he made with who? Dawid. That's the type of covenant that we need. That's the type of covenant that we want. Because what was that covenant? He said, I'm going to give you a permanent homeland. He said, there'll be no threats against pagan nations and no war. That's the type of peace that we want in our lives and for the next generation, for our children. But that's the type of thing that we have to continually fight for by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Isaiah knew what type of calamity was coming our way, what we were about to face. So, as a result of not listening to the Creator. So, let's not make this too hard on ourselves. It is simple. Go to the Creator, listen to the Creator, and serve the Creator. This is our life. This is our portion.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah.
Keep it going for Akh Khayil. Please have a seat. We're going to move forward. He has such a powerful message. I don't want to distract from it, but just do appreciate that is how you deliver a haftarah. So as you young men and young women who are getting in the age where you're going to be called up, and see how you can bring your character into it. You made your time. You brought forth the prophecy. Just remember that. Okay. We look forward to seeing that from every single person throughout this year. Thank you. And to the last week's Maftir for setting off this Torah cycle strong. And with that, let us raise up and just give praise to God for this Torah, for these prophets, and these holy writings. With the song HaTorah on the screen.
Whereby shall we return unto thee, for thy word to be
We have time for one song. Let's sing Zina Ali, which is on page 6. We have a full house. It's a great thing to have. And this is our first Shabbat of the 8th month. So let's sing loud and let's sing proud.
Zina Ali, Ani Odecha, Ani Omer, Bolefanecha, Ka'asher Ani Margish Me'ayeh, Ozecha Elecha El Yahovah. Your word is righteous, Sandi Tebocha, Chachma Torah Yeh Akahu, Rotze Lemon Bo, Shemo Achali, Wecho Mishpati, Asi Omitzvot, Berochad V'Shalom.
Who does give us bread and water?
Minoten lechem, minoten mayim, mima'achiyamo kol hazman, melech ha'olam borei
Oh Yahweh. What is his name? Oh Yahweh. Catch you in the afternoon with more praises. We definitely want to hear more of the word of Yah. So at this time, you may be seated, as we call it, up the Chief Agud, Azariah ben Yehuda, comes to us from New York to recite the 8th proverb. Let's welcome him, please. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You can do it from your seat. You can do it from your seat if you want.
If he wants to come up,
Come on.
Hallelujah.
face the people.
Hallelujah.
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 Thank Yah. Thank Yah for this holy Shabbat day. So many people don't even know. You're special. Know that you're special because Yah invited you to His day. The day that He, as a great Father, did from the beginning. To show us that, who are you to think that you don't keep this Shabbat day? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I read the 8th proverb. And I want to thank you for your hospitality. It's great. Oh man, tell us when you're coming. So we could even do more. Come on, man. Y'all did enough. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Imagine if I did tell y'all. Just popped in. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Doeth not wisdom call, and understanding put forth her voice. In the top of high places by the way, where the paths meet, she standeth. Beside the gates at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors, she cries out loud. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men, human beings. Hallelujah. O ye thoughtless, understand prudence, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall utter truth,
and wickedness is an abomination unto my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness.
That's right, say that.
There is nothing perverse or crooked in them. Make me think of Noakh. He was righteous in his time. So it's the same thing as now. We're in a sea of wickedness. All your choices have to be right. And we will be righteous in our time. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
They are all plain to him that understand,
Right.
and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. And chase that dollar without Yah, because all things come from him. It will not prosper. It will not prosper. Receive my instructions. Slika 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things desirable are not to be compared unto her. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of devices. The fear of Yahweh is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, and the evil way. Everything not to be like. This is so simple. And the froward mouth do I hate. Everything is a cuss word. Everything is how you want to get riches in the wrong way. Everything is perverse nowadays. And this is like normal. The songs we listen to. We have to be conscious of the things we listen to and internalize in our soul. Yeah, the beat is nice, it's beautiful. We're spiritual people, but we'll be spiritual in a wrong way and make you, listen to garbage. This is all the things that I'm working on. We all have to work on. Like, wow, what is that? Whoa. This is the times we're living in. It's sad. The forward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Power is mine. So all things come from this. If you have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? And we put it in that order. But really, the knowledge, right? You get the knowledge, then you have understanding of the knowledge. They give you wisdom. But I am understanding, power is mine. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. By me princes rule, and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. I love them that love me, and those that seek me earnestly shall find me. You have to seek this. One of my teachers, Maury Mishael, said wisdom, he said righteousness is something that is learnt. That don't just come. You're not fooling me. I'm righteous. Yeah, okay. What are you doing? What did you learn in your life? Some things come with even age. I don't care how many books you read. So these are the things and all the, the trials in my life I noticed. Some things come with just age and things that you go through. Hurt and feeling love and feeling gladness. All of these things, it builds you as a person. So we have to watch our children and guide them right. We know that Yah said, teach your children diligently. That's even if you're sleepy. That's even if you don't feel like it. Right. That means, with all your life, with everything. Hey, look at that, son. Look at that, daughter. What do you think about that? That's teaching them diligently. Right. Diligently, that means don't get sick of it. And I don't care if they're 30. Right. I don't care if they're married. That is your job till death do you part. You know? Hallelujah. We have to put that in our, because I see in our nation it's like, oh yeah, you know, he's married now, he could do whatever he wants. No, he can't. Oh, you know, he's 20 something now, you know.
Yeah, 21.
He can do what he wants. How can he do what he wants?
Yeah.
And this is the thing that irks me, man. You know? Because why? This nation we live in, oh, you can't touch him, you know. A certain time, you know, you can't touch her, you know. It's okay, you know, leave them alone. My daughter is 12 and my son is 11 and all of these. Oh, we need to speak to them by themselves. You can't come in here. What? This is the place we're living in. 17, they can do whatever they want. Oh, you know, really, you know, sir, you can't come in here. We need to speak to them. They're independent. They are? Oh, they're using my insurance. Huh? I got you. These are the things that, you know, I meditate on. I know that we have to get out of here.
Talk about it.
And I teach like this, that the same way that the land of Yisrael spewed our people out because it's a righteous land, this land here that's an evil land is going to spit us out. Because you want to be righteous, huh? It's like Lot in you know, Sodom. Spit them out. He had some goodness in him, man. Most I said, man, because of Abraham, all right. But he had to have some goodness in him. That's right. He had virgin daughters that these men passed up. Disgusting. So I don't want that. I don't want the men. What? It's the same way here. It's disgusting, man. So, let me finish up. Riches and honor are with me, yea, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yea, fine gold, and my produce than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of justice, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance. See what's first? The fear of Yah. Wisdom, knowledge, then you get substance. Right? And that I may fill their treasuries. Yahweh made me in the beginning of his way, the first of his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, where or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no foundations abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills I was brought forth, while as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the beginning of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he set a circle upon the face of the deep, when he made firm the skies above, when the foundations of the deep showed their might, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not transgress his commandment. When he appointed the foundations of the earth, when I was by him then I was by him as a nursling, and I was daily all delight, playing always before him, playing in his habitable earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Hallelujah, Adam. Now therefore, ye children, hearken unto me. An open book test, man. It has everything in here to live, the right way to live. And while people are failing every day, with an open book test that tell you all the answers. Now therefore, ye children, hearken unto me, for happy are they that keep my ways. I want to be happy. I want to find a good wife. I want to find a good husband. But what's first? That pretty face or that handsome face? What's first? See, these are things that we have to internalize. Hallelujah. Hear instruction and be wise. And refuse it not. That's when someone's trying to tell you something. The righteous way or a right thing. Refuse it not. Happy is the man that hearkeneth to me, the human being, women and men. Watching daily at my gate. Waiting. So that means you have to seek this. At the post of my doors. Always be ready to receive wisdom, knowledge, understanding. I don't care how old you are. Because that's what happens too. You reach a certain age and like, what are you going to tell me, young man? You know, all these type of things I'm learning to listen to the youth sometimes. Because sometimes, you know, they say, whoa, hold up. How do you know that? I don't know. I've gotten that. I don't know. So it made me think of the prophecy of no one will teach anyone anymore. How do you know that? I don't know. I just know it. It's coming. I'm telling you. Watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whosoever find me finds life and obtain favor of Yahweh. But he that misses me wrongeth his own soul. You wrong your own soul. All they that hate me love death. And it's not just physical death. Death of knowledge, understanding. How people are dead walking around. You tell them what's important to them. That new song is important. The new Jordans. Looking fly. That's it. That's important to me. Women, men. You know, so all these things, all they that hate me love death. So, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Toda, appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of the Shabbat. Hallelujah.
Thank you so much for making that trip down here to share those words. That was powerful. At this time, hold on, let's stay risen. Not used to saying risen. For about half my life now. So we want to give thanks to Yah for all of our elders, all of our leaders. So let's say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yah, we have, please have a seat. We have, very strong start to this day. Very spiritually full right now. But it's all saved. Psalm 24. The earth is Jehovah's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the mountain of Yahweh? And who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not taken my name in vain, and hath not sworn deceitfully. He shall receive a blessing from Yahweh, and righteousness from the Elohim of his salvation. Such is the generation of them that seek after him, that seek thy face, even Yaakov Sidrah. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? Yehovah strong and mighty, Yehovah mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, yea, lift them up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who then is the King of glory? Yehovah of hosts, he is the King of glory. Selah. Welcome the Creator into our midst. And even at this time, let us welcome our Cohane to teach the words of this Torah. Hallelujah. Shebu Babak Shah, seated.
Yeladine, at this time, you may go to your classes at your level. Give thanks to the Almighty. The power of this universe, creator, maker of heaven and earth.
Yes.
Thanking him for each and every one of your lives. I would like to thank him for even our leadership. The head of this community, Sar Aharon. Thanking him for each and every one of our elders, all of you that are here today, and each and every one of us that's been given this opportunity to praise and glorify his name. I'm thankful to Yah for bringing Abba Kirby back in our midst. For the many others that he allowed to go safely under the surgeon's hand, hearing and answering our prayers time and time again, and allow them to return safely to their homes with the breath of life within them. Chief Azariah said something when he stood up here. I don't know if you took it the way I did. He said, we're special. We have something to be thankful for. To know the Creator is no light thing. This week I found myself having a moment in tears because I just felt like every time I pray to the Creator, he's answering my prayers over and over again. And to watch and see him take so many of our loved ones under the surgeon's hand, the prayers I say for them and calling on the Most High to see the Creator doing everything as I prayed, as I plead, the same way that I asked of it. And in so many other cases, I had a moment just thinking, and I said a prayer and just told the Creator, told Yah for knowing you. Because if I didn't know him, I wouldn't have known who to pray to. All these prayers that's been answered, who would I turn to? Whose name would I be calling upon? Maybe some idol like so many others are. And I was just thankful and had a moment and shedding tears just saying to the Creator, I'm thankful just to know you, because there are so many that don't know you and that do not know who to call on, who to pray to, who to ask for help. It is no light thing to know the Creator. And we sometimes take this knowledge for granted, believing that because we notice there are little things that we don't have to do, that we can become bored and tired of. You have to find a way to re-energize yourself when you feel like this becomes a habit or something that's just boring you. You have to find a way to reignite that spark in you, that connection between you and the Creator. It's a challenge sometimes, because when you've been in this for a long time, you see this as routine after a while. You have to get out there in the world and see where you could where you could apply your God-given talent in helping people in this earth and in doing something else to give glory and bring glory to the Creator's name. Amen. This is not just about here in this community. This return is not about coming out on Shabbat day and singing Zayat HaShabbat and going through this quote-unquote routine that we see here every day. Find your place in this return. Find out where you can serve humanity, not just Israel. Humanity. Find out how you can give back to somebody and bless them, or give to someone like the Creator's given to you. Find out how you can perform a good deed, whether it's on your job, whether it's to a friend, a child, someone. These are the little things that the Creator looks for, to see how you live, how we live. And that determines whether you're labeled as righteous in your times, like we're about to read of today. This book, Noakh, was a time when the Creator saw the earth and where it was. And the Most High decided, I've had enough. There is so much negativity and evil out there to the point where now I need to intervene and do something about it. And many times when the Creator has to do something about it, a lot of people turn up dead. We have to understand that this great power doesn't see things the way we see them, and doesn't apply the same logics that we apply today. Many times we do things and and assume that we know what the punishment is going to be because we feel like, well, this is the crime, the punishment just has to be this. When we look up, it's something totally different, which is why the Creator says, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. I don't apply the same reasoning that you apply to life, that we apply to life. And so, this time that we're about to read of in the book of Noakh was a time similar to what we see today, when the Creator had to intervene because he saw that the sin or evil had reached a peak in his eyes. We don't know what that peak is today. What we do know is that there is a pattern by this power that we know of and that we pray to. And when sin overwhelms righteousness or good, he intervenes. And you and I can clearly see that sin in this day and time, in this country that we're living in for sure, outweighs good and righteous. And how the Creator is going to intervene, how severe it's going to be, to what end it's going to be, we don't know. But the key is that we prepare ourselves for whatever it is. Prepare ourselves for whatever it is. How do we prepare ourselves? Doing the very things that the Creator said would gain his favor. Just that simple. I don't have to go and start reading through laws and statutes and commandments and getting into detail. We know what those things are. Everybody here is smart enough to know what you need to do in your life to gain the Creator's favor, and what you do not need to do to anger him. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Because we today need to stop playing games with ourselves first. Stop telling ourselves that what we're doing is okay. Then we could find ourselves gaining the Creator's favor. Because many times it's all here for us. We've programmed our minds to believe that the lives that we're living are just fine, when we know that there are things that we need to work on and change. But in this book of Genesis, the 6th chapter, beginning in the 9th verse, we're going to read about this man Noah. The Creator said something, and something led up to this point in the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter. We were going through the genealogies, and then it mentioned a man, Enoch. It said that Yared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years and begot sons and daughters. Enoch lived 60 and 5 years and begot Methuselah. Right. Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah. In Genesis, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse, it begins on this wise, and you'll see why I read that. These are the generations of Noah.
Eliel told Noakh, Noakh ish zedek tamim haya v'dorotai et ha-Elohim v'hit halek Noakh. These are the generations of Noakh. Noakh was in his generation a man righteous and wholehearted. Noakh walked with Elohim.
Noakh walked with Elohim. The Creator took Enoch off of this earth because Enoch walked with him. Enoch had a special connection and relationship with the Most High. And the Creator realized that, you know what? You're special to me. I don't want you down there with the people and what they're doing. I prefer you go to a higher level and be with me directly. And the Most High took him from the earth. The earth had begun to become corrupt around that very time. And so the Creator noticed things, and the Most High removed him. It said Noakh walked with Elohim too. Noakh had a relationship with the Creator similar to Enoch, where he was close to the Creator. What they did, it doesn't mention. We can only assume. Maybe they had a way of meditating, communicating with the Most High, connecting with the Creator, not doing things that everyone else was doing at that time. separated themselves from what they saw was negative and unrighteous in their eyes, because there was no God, Yah-given law at that time. But there were morals. Morality existed. People knew right from wrong, just as people know today what's wrong and what's right. And so therefore, these men, just as our father Abraham later on we're going to find, did the very thing. And it mentioned that the Creator walked with him. It says, Noakh was righteous in his generation, wholehearted. You know what wholehearted means? Corey said something here, complete. He was real. You know how we say something? Keep it real. Keep it real, brother. Keep it real. Be real with yourself. Wholehearted. You come to him, you're going to get the truth. He's going to deal straight up with you. When you ask him something, he's going to be honest with you. The way he lived was different. People talked to him or communicated with him was like, he didn't like these other people around here. There was something about him that separated him from everyone else. And so the Creator saw this, and this began before the time of the floods. The Creator had a relationship with him all along, communicating with him, watching him. So we're being monitored before the day of destruction. So you can't just decide, now that I see God's hand in this earth on another level, I'll decide now I want to change and get right. Because we're being monitored every day. The Creator's watching us. And he was monitoring Noah. That's why I said Noah walked with Elohim. He was carrying himself in such a manner long before the day of the flood. Years before the Creator was watching him, just as he was watching everyone else. Saw personality traits, a character about this man that said, he walked with me. He's walking with me. He's moving with me. Do you move with the Creator with you? We could bring it down to today's terminology. How do you move? Do you move with the Creator in your life? When you're on the streets, do you move with him? How you think? Is he in your mind? Are you moving with him when negativity and evil comes in your mind? How do you fight it? How do you battle your ruach? Because we all have that in us where evil's gonna approach us. We have a good side of us and a bad side. Let me throw something at you for a minute, just to bring you back to Genesis and where we were in Bereshit. We today don't understand how powerful the Creator is. We like to say sometimes the Creator's all-knowing. So if he's all-knowing, why would he put Nakash in a garden knowing that this would happen? That Eve and Adam would be convinced to go a certain route as opposed to the route that the Creator wanted them to go or desired for the earth to turn out. There's also said right here, the Creator's ways are not our ways. Do you believe that it's possible that there are two paths that exist? A future of right if you choose this way, and a future of wrong if you choose that. The Creator lives in both and he can see both. So if you go this way, he know this would happen and you would get this blessing. He's already there. He's way ahead of us. And if you choose this path of evil, he's in that existence too. You would get this curse. So him knowing both, knowing both futures, existing in both futures, is telling you, go this route. I know what happens if you go that route because I'm there and I'll see the outcome. But I'm telling you, go this way. You have the choice. We have the choice. So now when we choose the evil path, the Creator say, okay, you chose it. Here we go. He's there welcoming you because he's in that future too. He's in that future prepared to give you your marker for what you're doing, the path and the direction that you've chosen. Just like he's in that future if you chose the right way. He's all-knowing, all-powerful, all-existing. He exists everywhere. In whatever direction you choose, he's there. So he can determine or know the outcome before you even choose it. That's why he gave us the ability to decide. He didn't make us like the other animals to say, okay, you have to go this route. He said, I'll make you, man, give you the ability to decide. But I'm here in both futures if you choose either way. And I know the outcome of both, so I'm telling you choose this one. So now, because Adam and Eve chose that way, that doesn't say that the Creator put Nakash there knowing that they would do that. He knew both futures. He was there in both, but he gave them the option, just like he gives us the option. Right. Take this one, because I'm there in that future and I'm in that one. Choose this one here. Now here we are today, back to reality with you. What future are we going to choose? The Creator's in both. He knows the outcome if we decide one path or the other. And in the future, we've been defeated by the adversary for years. Because that adversarial spirit and energy exists in this earth, and constantly we've been choosing the path of evil, the path of wrong. Even though we're here and have the other option. Today, we have to start deciding which option we want. And so, the Creator's watching us as Noakh walked with him. Are we walking with him right now in our everyday lives? Or will we wait until calamity comes in this earth, or the Creator decides to put his hand on us before we choose to do the right thing or to walk with Elohim like Noakh walked with him? And we'll see right now what happens when we choose not to walk with Elohim. Tom Sheep.
And Noakh begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Yafet. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. Elohim saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh have corrupted their ways.
All flesh had corrupted their ways upon the earth. Do you know the Creator can see wrong and negativity even in animals? Sometimes our vibration throw off the rest of the world. What we do, how we live, how we carry ourselves. Moray mentioned something in the book of Genesis about how the earth puts out different vibrations and things to us that we get from it. Do you know they say if you walk just barefoot, walk around in the mud and in the soil, it gives your body certain minerals and your body draws energy from the earth? There's an energy also that we can put out there if we're wrong and we're corrupted and our root code aren't right. And so that energy begins to affect the rest of the world. The animals, it throw off their vibration. Today, what we're doing in the earth today, polluting the waters, polluting the heavens. We want to know why these birds just flying down and swooping at us. Sometimes you look, why that bird acting like that? Crazy, weird bird. You go up shaking your head. Something wrong with him. Something's wrong with us. We're throwing them off. Fish just popping up on the seashores, dead. Then they out there trying to clean it up, clean all the oil off of it. They'll show us on the news how nice they be into these little ducks, washing them up, cleaning them up and sending them back out. You sending them right back out to the poison that we putting out there. You know what I mean? That's how they came out here in the first place and got to a place where we had to clean them up. Because we messed them up. And this is where we are today. And so then, at that time, man's corruption affected the rest of the world. It affected the animals. They were out of sync. And the Creator was like, you know what? I have to do something about all of this. Animals weren't just attacking people at that time. Man had dominion over these animals. When the animals saw a man walking, there was a fear of respect. They walked off. They didn't bother. Adam was able to move freely through the garden. These animals didn't bother him. But when we lost our way as man, then the animals lost their way as well. And they began to attack people, kill people. The earth was out of sync, and the Creator intervened.
And Elohim said unto Noakh, the end of all flesh has come before me. For the earth is filled with violence, and through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. With room shall thou make the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is how thou shalt make it. The length of the ark, 300 cubits, and the breadth of it, 50 cubits. and the height of it 30 cubits. A light shalt thou make to the ark, and to a cubit shalt thou finish it upward, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it.
And so, what's about to happen is what we call divine salvation. This is how the Creator see it, you know. Sometimes we look at it, wow, there's so much death, this is evil, this is wicked. No, divine salvation. The Creator has to save those that He realized do not need to be corrupted by all of this evil. And what the way the Creator thinks and operates is not like the way we think. If He feel like this, okay, I need to destroy this place to protect this few here, He'll do it. He'll do it. In spite of the fact that some of these people being destroyed are our loved ones, He don't care. Because He see the bigger picture. This mass is corrupting this few, and they're going to corrupt the rest of what could be. Because He sees the future. He's living in many places all at one time. And He knows what this here can do way ahead of time before it even happens. He sees both outcomes. He's in both. And when He sees the evil outcome and what the effect that it'll have on the masses, He realizes, this I'm not going to let happen. I'm going to prevent it. The Creator can intervene whenever He decides to. He'll allow us to choose our path up to a certain point. When it reaches a point where He sees utter destruction and turmoil and straight confusion, He says, okay, now I need to intervene because they don't know how to apply logics and righteous thinking. I can give them their leeway up to a certain point, but at some point or another, me who's in control of everything, I take charge. I get in, all right, I see where we are. Separate this, take that out of the equation, move this back over. Now I'll give this group a chance. Let's see how we can work with that there. You have both options. I see where both lead. Let me give you the choice though. Even though I know if you go this way, this will happen. If you go that way, that'll happen. I'll still give you the choice. And this is where we are, right back. Every generation is happening, you know. We see it as thousands of years, but this was just yesterday for the Creator. This just happened. That's why it's nothing for Him. It just happened. Thousands of years. Okay, that just happened. All right, let me stop that. We're only in a loop of time. So now you want to know, why is He taking so long before He intervened? It didn't take that long. This just happened. This just happened. It taking long to you and I. This just happened for Him. So now He's going to intervene because yesterday, which was 1,000 and something years for us, yesterday you walked across that floor when you should have been that way. So He gets involved. Come back here. You just walked over there yesterday. Get back in line. We're stuck in that whole loop of time. Doesn't bother Him. It doesn't affect Him. And this is how things are going with Him. And the sooner we come to realize it, the sooner we can become a part of the equation and we can find ourselves benefiting from it as opposed to suffering or going through some challenge from it. We have to see, how do we benefit out of all of this? We can get a blessing in this. The Creator said, here's your blessing in all of this. You don't have to know and understand all of the things that are out of your place. The secret things belong to me. You're in this box. Do what you need to do in this box to bring happiness and peace to you and your family. Start with that first. And it's as simple as this. How you speak to one another. How you treat one another. Let's start here and then we'll go from there. And so here now, Noakh, who gained Yah's favor, finds himself amongst those that the Creator has favored and given the opportunity to be delivered during this divine salvation period. And now the Creator also sees it fit to save His family, His sons, His wife, their loved ones. And so the Most High says, okay, I'm going to have you build an ark. You're going to build this ark. And not only are you and your families going to go in this ark, but also I'm going to select some animals that are going to come in this ark with you to preserve life for different species amongst these animals, insects, and this life that exists in the earth.
And now, behold, I do bring the flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. From under heaven, everything that is in the earth shall perish. But I will establish my covenant with thee, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and every living thing of all flesh. 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of the fowl after their kind, and of the cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the ground after its kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that Yah commanded him, so did he.
And as Morey rightfully mentioned, in the 6th chapter, it mentioned the Creator saying that he was going to, in 120 years, he would give man, it said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever, for that he also is flesh. Therefore shall his days be 120 years. It wasn't saying that man is going to live only 120 years. It was saying that in 120 years, the Creator was going to bring the floods of water upon the earth. This also gave Noakh time to build the ark. Right. This ark was huge. Noakh didn't have these machines that we have today. He had to do this by hand, he and his sons. Years upon years it took. Do you know the size of that ark? Morey, pull it up so just to give us a picture. Titanic had nothing on this here. You hear me? And they had to build this ark. It took time, years. They're coming, doing their work. They had to make sure this ark was properly sealed, secured, protected from the weather. Because remember, this was no ordinary storm that was about to hit. Nothing like the storms that we know of today. You're going to read when it mentions these waters and how this storm came. You're going to know that this was no joke. There are ships today that are sinking when this ocean finds itself becoming, these waves become tumultuous. Big Titanics sinking. Nothing happened to this ark here. The Creator was there protecting it throughout this process. And so they had to build this ark. And it gives us the dimensions of this ark. It also mentions the fact that these animals, after this ark was finished, these animals, the Creator put a ruach on them to know when it was time to come. They weren't there waiting, you know. Even though Noakh was finished up. The Creator knew how long it would take. The Creator also knew which animals he would prepare, because just as humans were chosen, you better believe the Creator chose animals with the right root code as well. You. You. Come. Right down to the smallest thing that we see crawling today. It was on that ark somewhere. Anything that lived on land was in that ark. And so Noakh and his family, while preparing this, the Creator had to give them time to do so. And this was that 120-year time frame.
The Most High said unto Noakh, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee I have seen righteousness before me in this generation. Of every clean beast shalt thou take to thee 7 and 7, each with his mate. And of the beasts that are not clean, 2 and 2, each with his mate.
It is believed that a lot of unclean animals, they reproduce in groups. It's a lot of them. They have litters, a bunch of kittens and a bunch of dogs, and this is how they reproduce. But clean animals, your goats, you might find one goat, one little one born. Sometimes I believe I've heard they may have 2 here and there, once in a blue moon though. But because they reproduce much slower, so it is believed that this could have been the reason why the Creator decided to take more clean animals as opposed to unclean. It's not written here, but this is how we apply what logic we have to assume why the Creator may have chosen this way of bringing these animals in.
For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I blot out from off the face of the earth. And Noakh did according to all that Yah commanded him. And Noakh was 600 years old when the flood of the water was upon the earth. And Noakh went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean beasts, and of the beasts that are not clean, and of the fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the ground, they went in, 2 and 2, unto Noakh, unto the ark, male and female, as Yah commanded Noakh. And it came to pass after the 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noach's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on the same day, were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
It's possible that it mentioned in the 10th verse, and it came to pass after the 7 days. It's possible that there was a 7-day time frame that these animals, that it took for all of these animals to come marching on in. Because this, you better believe, this didn't just happen in one day. You're talking hundreds, thousands of different animals. They were coming in droves. Noakh and them were there. Okay, we got this group. We got that group. This time. It's amazing when you think of it, because if it took 7 days, this could be that whole thought of the number 7 and that Shabbat thought, you know. But it's just something to think of and consider how the Creator does things, why He do things this way. There is ruach and energy and thought behind the Creator's process, not just willy-nilly or haphazardly. This is not how the Creator does things. And so these animals, as they were coming in, Noakh had to count them off. Make sure we have this species, that species. This ark was sectioned off. Each animal lived in different sections. Noakh and them had to be caretakers. They had to take care of these animals. It's possible that some of them may have even reproduced while on the ark.
Absolutely.
Noakh and them had to take care of that. They had to be prepared for all of this. But I'd rather be alive and have to be a caretaker for all them animals than be out there in that mess and not make it on board. And so you better believe they were happy to be alive. There was no easy job taking care of all of these animals, but they were blessed to just be on there and to be chosen by the Creator to be saved during this time.
That's right. In the self-same day into Noakh, and Shem, Ham, and Yafet, and the sons of Noakh, and Noach's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after its kind, and every fowl after its kind, and every bird of every sort. And they went into Noakh, into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh.
They didn't go 2 males, they ain't go in there. That's right. Male and female went in there. This is why. Opposites. This is how you reproduce. So they didn't have no funny business going on in there. They understood it then. What changes things today? We have to understand nothing changed. It's supposed to be the same thing. We're changing things with how we're applying them in this earth today.
And Elohim commanded him, and the Most High shut him in.
The Creator shut them in. The Most High sealed that door so that no water could penetrate this ark. So that this ark wasn't destroyed in any way. This ark was protected by the Creator. And you have to understand what it's like. It mentioned 40 days and 40 nights of rain. Sometimes we get 2 good days of rain and this place is flooding. You're looking around like, man, this rain can ease up here. I step outside, I'm all in mud. Front here, water all over the place. Another day of this and we done. And that's only 3 days we looking at. And it wasn't even hard, it was on and off. A little heavy, a little light, a little heavy, a little light. We had enough. Can't wait for the sun to come out. Imagine 40 days of serious heavy rain right through. To the point where the highest mountain, it said, was covered. And the water's not just coming from above. The Creator's causing these oceans to overflow. They're coming up. The Creator can bring water from below too, bring it up on you. This is what was happening here.
And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bore up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth, and the waters prevailed and increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high mountains were
under the whole heaven that
were
was
covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh perished that moved upon the earth, both fowl and cattle and beasts, and every swarming thing that swarmeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life. Whosoever was in the dry land died.
So every living creature, anything that live on land was done with. The fish of the sea, they were fine. There was no need to bring them on the ark. They can live in water. You couldn't live in water, you were done. And this was all the hand of the Creator. Most High destroyed every living creature on earth. And so, now that this is happening, this rain is just coming. 40 days of heavy rain to ensure that every form of life was taken that existed on earth. And now, Noakh and his family, they're in the ark while all of this is happening. You better believe they had to be praying. People knew prayer then, just like they know prayer today when danger's there.
And he blotted out every living substance which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping thing, and the fowl of the heaven. They were blotted out from the earth, and Noakh only was left, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days.
Wow, 150 days of just constant rain and waters, making sure that everything drowned, nothing was alive. Then it mentions in the 8th verse, and Elohim
remembered Noakh and every living thing, and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assayed. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days, the waters decreased. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen.
And so that's just the tops of the mountains were seen. You still had a lot more water that had to go down before Noakh and them could come out. You talking about the highest mountains. Now we barely seeing their tops. The ark sat down, rested on top of one of them because the water started decreasing. Now they can see just the top of the mountains. They still have a long way to go before anyone can come out of that ark. Because you got a lot of swimming to do if you think you good. I don't know how well you can hold your breath, but I know you can until the waters decrease from the top of the highest mountain. But now it mentioned that the Creator remembered them. Because sometimes when the Creator puts his hand in this earth and he's in destruction mode, your righteousness alone, our righteousness alone can change his mind. When he see us, that could be the very thing that makes him say, I'll have mercy.
That's right.
I don't know if you can recall in our history when Dawid counted the people and he was never supposed to count Israel. And the Creator sent the angel of death out there. And the angel of death was just taking lives. And he put up his hand and was just about to take all of us out. The Creator looked down and saw us. Dawid and these men, they were praying on behalf of the people. The Most High told him, hold up, that's enough. Because there were a few amongst us that the Creator said, because of them and what they're trying to do, I'll spare everyone else. We have to ask ourselves, can we be in that few? You and I can be the ones that save our family, our loved ones who may not be there yet. But it has to be more than just one or two of us. It has to be enough for the Creator to say, this is a significant number here. It's worth it. Remember when he sent the angels into Sodom and Gomorrah? Abraham was counting down, whoa, if there were only but 40, the Creator said, I'd save it if it was 40. It's not even 40. If it was but 20, I'd save it if it was but 20, but it ain't even 20 of them. This is how the Creator is determining how he's going to put his hand in this earth. So our numbers matter. Don't think, well, I don't really have to be one of them that's like the brother such and such. He might be better than me. No, try to be the best. Because we need your number to count to make it matter. Because one number, one person could be the difference maker here that caused the Creator to say, I'll save this group. We need everybody, all hands on deck. This is how we are, and this is where we are today.
And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven, and it went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. And he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot. And she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth.
See, a raven can just keep circling. These birds of prey, they can circle and circle for days before they land anywhere. So the raven never came back. Then Noakh was a little wiser. The next time Noakh said, you know what? Yeah, that raven probably still circling out there. He can last a little longer. Let me send a dove out. This is a bird that can only fly for a while before they have to land again. So he sent the dove out. The dove couldn't find anywhere to land, so she came back home. Right back to the ark. Noakh realized, okay, the waters are still out there. Let me give it a little while longer.
And he put forth his hand and took her and brought her to him into the ark. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him at eventide, and lo, in her mouth an olive leaf freshly plucked. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth.
Stuff is growing. Trees are growing. Something grew, so the dove came back with a leaf. This is a fresh leaf. You better believe Noakh and his family are happy. Wow, okay. So now we know things are growing. There are some places that may still be a little flooded, but at least we know there's greenery growing out there. This is a sign.
And he stayed yet other 7 days and sent forth the dove, and she returned not again unto him anymore.
So the dove realized, hey, I don't have to come back to this ark. I can hang out here. Everything's good for me now. That's right. Dove had places to land, somewhere to go live. This was the sign from Noakh. This was the sign by Yah also in his wisdom, showing Noakh what to do and how to be aware of it. But yet, Noakh is going to wait until he gets the final word from Yah.
And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, and on the 7th and 20th day of the month, the earth was dry. And the Most High spoke unto Noah, saying, Go forth from the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both fowl and cattle, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may swarm in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, whatsoever moveth upon the earth, after their families went forth out of the ark.
This is a new beginning for these animals. A new beginning for Noakh. A new beginning for humanity at that time. We after the Day of Atonement, we see ourselves in our lives, that being our new beginning. That being the opportunity that we've been given now to become different peoples and be re-evaluated by the Creator. We have to make it count. We have to make it meaningful. Make this new opportunity that we've been given meaningful. And so when we go forward, allow the Creator to see us as favorable in His eyes and count us as those who He would say walked with me or are now walking with Him. And decide now, well, because of this new sister that's emerged since the Day of Atonement, because of this new brother that's emerged, because of this new family that's emerged, I'll see them righteous in this time and save them and deliver them. Because the Creator it is that said to us, whatever you've done, I'll pardon. And if you better believe the Creator knows what we're capable of doing. So if He said, whatever you've done, I'll pardon. If you change and return to me, nothing that you or I could do, the Creator's saying, I'm incapable of pardoning. Because He's the one that places judgment on anyone. And therefore, we have to see this as our opportunity to become better in His eyes.
That's right. And Noakh built an altar unto Jehovah, and took every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Jehovah smelled the sweet savor. And Yah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done, while the earth remaineth seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Day and night shall not cease, because when those waters came on the earth, there weren't any seasons like that for a while, you know. It was just nothing but one thing you see, rain. This is what it is.
Right.
The Creator said, I'm not going to do this anymore. He smelled the sweet savor from the offerings. Noakh was thanking Him, praising Him, saying prayers and giving thanks to the Creator for sparing their lives. Right. And the Creator saw this and felt His ruach and His energy. The Most High said, this is love. There are people capable of displaying love and affection towards me. There are people who love me and who will serve me and praise me and glorify my name. For those individuals, I'll never do this again. We can be those people that the Creator see in such a light. To say, because of brother such and such, because of sister such and such, I'm not going to bring harm on the whole family, on this group, on this family here, this household here. You have to ask yourself, can you be that person in your home? That the Creator would say, I'll protect this family because of brother such and such, because of sister such and such. And if we all take on that state of mind and we come together as a family, we'll be one powerful piece.
Right.
And here now, the Creator considered all of humanity because of what Noakh did in offering up these offerings. And the Most High said, I'll never do this again. And it reads,
And the Most High blessed Noakh and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all whereof the ground teemeth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hands are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be for food for you, as the green herb have I given you all. Only flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. At the hand of man, even at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply, swarm in the earth and multiply therein.
The Creator had to lay out some ground rules for them. In this new beginning, the Creator laid out one ground rule that was most important at that time to Him, which he realized he needed to share with them going forward, was the way we were just considering life as if it held no meaning. And that prior to the flood, man was just out there taking life, killing people for no reason. The animals were off. And so here, in this new beginning, the Creator told him, he said, listen, I'm holding everyone accountable who takes a life for no reason. Even the animals he mentioned here, if an animal takes the life of a man, that animal will be held accountable. It will die. Likewise, you, man, if you take the life of another person for no reason, and it's not justified, at the cost of your life will this be. And so after laying out those ground rules, he then said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. Go out, enjoy life.
Right.
Just remember this here and understand what you need to do going forward so that I don't find myself in a place where your life is taken because you've done wrong.
And Elohim spoke unto Noah and to his sons with them, saying, as for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the fowl, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, even every beast of the earth. And now I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood. Neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for a perpetual generation. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of the covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the cloud, that I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth.
Wow, the Creator is amazing. We still see this bow up to now. This is a power of His Word. A power of His Word when for so many thousands of years, today we still see the Creator being about His Word. I'm going to do something, and He does it. We know this is a different power. He's definitely not no man. Because ain't no man keeping a word for over 1,000 years. No man. This power has kept His word. We may see those storms come here and there, heavy rain for a day, 2 days, 3 days sometimes. Then afterwards you look, you see that rainbow come out. That sun come out. The Creator reminding us, hey, it's just for a while. I didn't forget my promise with you. Here's the bow as my reminder. Just a little rain for now, and that's it. I will not destroy the earth in this manner ever again.
And the sons of Noah that went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and of these was the whole earth overspread.
And so it mentions here the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark, because Noah had sons that were on the ark with him. It mentions Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And it says Ham is the father of Canaan. This is mentioned for a reason, because we're about to go into a piece of history that makes us understand why it would say that Ham is the father of Canaan. Because we're going to find out Canaan is going to commit an act. And if you hadn't known this little piece of information here, you may have been thrown off for some reason without this bit of information. As we continue, you'll see why this is important.
And Noah the husbandman began and planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, that they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noakh awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done. And he said, Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brother.
Now, what happened here was Noakh, after spending all of those years inside of the ark, working and taking care of all of these animals every day. This was a job, being on that ark. Don't think this was no light thing. He was working, dealing with all these animals. Finally, Noakh gets some freedom. Noakh comes out of that ark, and you better believe he's a happy man. Wow. I don't have to work and deal with the headache of these animals. It was a blessing to be on here, be alive and delivered, but yet, I'm happy to be out. Noakh starts planting. He plants him a nice vineyard. Over time, some grapes grow. Noakh got some yayin setting, getting ready. Yeah, I have me a nice stiff drink. Spend some time with my Isha, relax. So Noakh now, he has a moment and he drinks from his vineyard some nice wine, he and his wife. And they are drunk, but they're uncovered. They had a moment that husband and wives have, if you know what I mean. And now, when they had this moment, Canaan, the son of Ham or Cam, went in there when Noakh was out from his yayin. But Noakh, you know, sometimes you can be drunk and passed out, but you still, your eyes are halfway open, and you still see what's going on. That's the moment Noakh had. He was out, but he wasn't all the way out. He saw what Canaan did when he came in there. In Leviticus, the 18th chapter and the 8th verse, we need to understand what seeing a father's nakedness is. Because sometimes we say, and he saw the nakedness of his father, we believe that he's just looking at his father without any clothes on. That is not what this is speaking about. In Leviticus, the 18th chapter and the 8th verse, it says, the nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. So his wife is his nakedness. So when it said he saw the nakedness of his father, he cohabitated with Noach's wife, Canaan that is. So when Noakh woke up and he realized what his youngest son had done, Cam is not the youngest son. Remember that. What does a grandfather, whenever a grandfather has his firstborn grandson, he considers him as one of his own children. This is a concept that's been applied throughout history. And so he said, that's one of my sons there. So Canaan, Ham's son, was seen as Noach's youngest son. That's the reason why he says, cursed be his youngest son, Canaan. It mentioned, he said, and he cursed, he saw what his youngest son had done, which is Canaan, which is the youngest amongst them, his grandson, who he saw as his son. He says, cursed be Canaan, because of what Canaan had did. Canaan went in to his wife while they were both drunken, in a drunken state, and took advantage of her. And when Noakh caught himself, he realized what was happening. Wait a minute, I was drunk, but I wasn't that drunk. I know what happened. Hey, get in here. And he cursed him. But Shem and Japheth saw what happened. And when they went in there, he grabbed Canaan and took him out. And Shem and Japheth, they went and covered, walked in backward and covered up their Emah because of what happened here. And so when Noakh woke up, he cursed Canaan for what he had done. In Leviticus, the 18th chapter, if you read from verse 18:1, it says, I am Yahweh your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. After the doings of the land of Canaan, which I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their statutes. This here, Ruach and Spirit, continued amongst the Canaanites. This was one of the things that brought about a curse on the Canaanites in the first place. You have to read history when it mentions the Canaanites. As we go into the genealogy, you'll begin to see who were these Canaanites and what practices they continued throughout their legacy or their genealogy. And this curse that Noah placed on Canaan continued. So when we went in here to the land of Canaan, the Creator said, don't spare none of them. Don't spare none of them. Don't leave none of them alive. I have my reasons why. This is a curse that's passed down their generation. This is a behavior pattern that's a never-ending behavior pattern. And I don't want it to rub off on you, Israel. So therefore, when you go in this land of Canaan, don't spare none of them. Don't leave them alive. Don't make servants out of them. This was one nation that the Creator told us to completely annihilate. Because there was a curse that was placed on them, and there was a behavior pattern that went along with these people, this nation.
And Noah said, blessed be Yehovah the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan be their servant. Elohim enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be their servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died.
And he died. 950 years Noah lived, and he died. That's a long time to be alive. You better believe Noah was blessed. He just missed Methuselah. Barely missed him. Yeah. But the Creator was with this man to live so many years and be blessed by the Creator. And after the flood, he was blessed to live another 300 and something years to just be able to enjoy life on earth with that new beginning that he was given, that they were given at that time. The 10th chapter continues, and this is a chapter which really goes deep into history today. It brings out where today we may see or be able to point out or pinpoint many of these nations today that we read of and what happened to man or humanity after the flood. There were questions that were asked during our last question and answer period, which this genealogy may help those who had questions. And some were asking, well, what happened to Cain's seed? Or what happened to the seed of Nakash after the whole incident with Adam and Eve in the garden? How was Nakash's seed preserved? Nakash's seed was preserved through Japheth. When the earth reached a point where the earth the evil was heightened and the Creator decided to destroy the earth, it mentioned that the sons of Elohim began to mix with the daughters of men. The seed of Adam's offspring began to mix with Nakash's offspring. That's what that thought was, and that's what that meant. And so when the Creator saw this, he knew what would come about when good and evil mix. There's going to only be one outcome. Evil is going to dominate the good. Which is why the Creator said to us, destroy those Canaanites. Don't live amongst them. Separate yourselves from evil. The whole thought of this law and our teachings as Hebrew Israelites is to separate ourselves from evil, wrong, negativity. Not have them coexist, because one thing comes out of that. Evil will prevail. And so, when these two offspring begin to mix and intermingle, one thing came out of that, a corrupt earth. And the Creator decided, you know what? I'm going to destroy this earth. But yet, Nakash's offspring was still mixed in Adam's seed. And the Creator now is going to begin to make a separation. As people begin to cohabitate now and reproduce and replenish the earth, the Most High is going to start separating himself a pure enough seed so that he can choose for him a people that would represent him. That's what this whole book is about, leading to where Israel, or how we came about as a people. This is our history. And even though we read how the earth was created in this book, in our history book, it leads down to how we came about as a people and what caused the Creator to choose us. So there was always a love and a favor for us in the first place. And that us is just Adam's offspring. The Creator saw it after this intermingling took place. The Creator sought to create a separation after the flood to eventually bring about a pure enough seed to represent him from Adam's or Adam's offspring. And even though Noakh went into the ark with 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And amongst these 3 sons, you find they were still mixed with some of the seed and offspring of Nakash or Cain as well. And the Creator, as they begin to reproduce, is going to start separating for himself the purest of them and put aside that one, that genealogy, to be those that would represent him as a people, which becomes us, the nation of Israel. In the 10th chapter, in the first verse, it begins to speak about the offspring or the genealogy of Japheth. And how do we today, or how are we able today to see where these nations exist in this day and time? As we continue, we're going to read and understand how Japheth, or where Japheth is today in the earth, and how after so many years these nations just came throughout time and reached to the present day and time where we are today in this day and time. And it reads,
now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, God, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras.
These were the sons of Japheth. These were the sons of Japheth it mentioned. And after they give all of these names, then they're going to mention Gomer and Gomer's children. Today, in this time, Gomer, these are the Sumerians of ancient nomadic people who lived on the shores of the Caspian Sea. And originally from southern Russia, that is. This map over here that's on the, if you would turn up the mic for me a little. This map that's on the board here is going to actually allow us to see the territories and where today these names reside or exist in this day and time. So even though at that Gomer, it mentions that this is Gomer and these are the Sumerians of ancient time, you see where these people, do you have the little clicker more, just shine it on there for me? Right there. Todarabah. That's where Gomer is, and you're going to see it's going to also mention right here. This is where Gomer is, and if you pull it down a little more, you're going to see where that is today. This is actually Europe. So we're speaking of the European, those from European descent. This is Japheth right now, today's European man, or Lavan, that is. It also mentions, Slika, Magog. These are the Scythians. They live on the borders of the Caucasus Mountains. This is this area situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. You see there where the Black Sea is? Where is it? Right here. This is where the Black Sea. So Gomer and Magog, Madia or Madai, where the Medes are. This is all within the same vicinity or the same area here. Madai, these are the Medes. These are also people of Iranian descent who inhabited ancient Media. They established an extensive empire during the 7th BC, the 7th century BC, which was conquered by the so-called Cyrus the Great of Persia. This is during about 550 BC. This is all within the same area here. They just lived a little bit apart from one another, but we're all within this same area here. This is all Europe. Tamshi.
And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphat, and Togarmah, And the sons of Yavan was Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dodanim.
And also Yovan, these are the Greeks that we know of. Ashkenaz. This is said to be German, people of German or Eastern Europe descent. Today, you see even today a lot of the Jews, they're called Ashkenazim, those Jews of German descent. They use the term Ashkenazim. This is the same term Ashkenaz right here. That's where it comes from. And this is all people of German descent.
Of these were the isles of the nations divided in their land, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nation.
In their nations. It also mentions Riphath and Targoma. These are both people also of Asia Minor. All of these nations are from the same area, right around this same vicinity here between the Black Sea. They all lived around here. Magog, here you see them. Riphath, Targoma. This is all where they all lived. Within this very same vicinity here. This was all Japhet, from the sons of Japhet. It hasn't mentioned yet Ham, but this here is the family of Japhet. And we see where Japhet ended up, but what happens though, eventually in history, they begin to migrate, intermingle eventually again. And this was the character of Japhet. He was like a nomad. Known to just move around. Okay, what's going on over there? Let's see what y'all got going on. Come mix and mingle in there and move off to the next place. But this here is where they originally ended up after the flood. This is where they ended up being. Kamshi.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Put and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah, and Sabta and Ramah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
The sons of Ham, it mentions Cush. This is today Ethiopia. Right. Mizraim is Egypt. Right. And we have to understand also that this Mizraim that we know of as ancient Egypt is not the same. These are not the same people of Egypt today.
No, it's not.
Ancient Egypt was pretty much annihilated. And we have to also realize why this took place, because of what the history between us and Egypt at that time. The Creator brought a curse upon Egypt. Today, the people that are living in Egypt, they are not those people of ancient Egypt. And now also it mentions Put, which is Libya. You also have, if you recall, it mentions in the 13th and 14th verse, Mizraim. This Mizraim is also not just Egyptians, but these are people of the Philistine descent as well. These are the Philistines as well. We get our Philistines from these. As we read down, it's going to mention Babel and Erech and Akkad. It's going to go down to mention Nineveh. And also Mizraim begot Ludim and Anamim and Lihabim. This is where we get those Philistines, because we're going to find later on in history, Dawid went to war with these Philistines. Right. And we always want to find and want to know why we were at constant odds with the Philistines, with the Egyptians. You have to understand something. Canaan was the son of who? Ham. If the son of Ham is cursed and his offspring is cursed, what happened is when that curse took place, it created something, a connection, or I shouldn't say a connection, it created a separation between these offspring and us that we found ourselves in feud with hundreds of years later. Wanting to know, why are we always at odds with these people? We always have an issue. These Philistines always attacking us. The Egyptians have us as slaves. We were one of the only nations that ended up in a place where we sort of never grew with knowledge of self and knowledge of our history. These nations did. When these nations moved on later on in history, they built empires. They built empires and still understood and knew their culture and where they originated from. And when they saw us later on as a people beginning to grow and develop, they knew who we were. That's our cousin right there. Oh, They were giving their children information about who we were. The blessing that we had, that we inherited. What took place between us and their great-great-grandfathers and so on, which caused this separation. The fact that they would not be like us in many ways, and that they had to be, their offspring had to be mindful of us because we would inherit the blessing. And these nations were always at odds with us, trying to find a way to conquer us, trying to find a way to enslave us, trying to find a way to keep us down and below them so that we didn't rise up to be that powerful nation that we could be by the hand of Yah, which the Creator blessed us to be. And they find themselves underneath us, serving us. Especially when at that point in history, they already created and built empires. And they weren't prepared to let those release or give those empires away. Especially to some shack living, booth living guy who just came out of nowhere. Abraham and them, you saw they mentioned Yitzchak, and they dwelt in booths. We were living in little shacks and booths, now coming up just moving through the desert with our slippers. Simple and peaceful to them. And they have empires looking at that. When they're passing us in droves and watching us moving with our little cattle, you better believe their fathers are pointing. They're your offspring, you know. They're the ones that are sent to get this great blessing. And so with that knowledge, the thought was always to keep us suppressed. The thought was always to never let us rise and get too powerful above them. Even when in Egypt, that was the energy, that was the thought behind it all. And these nations and families grew with this understanding. We were the only ones who never had it like that and never maintained the knowledge to the degree that they did.
Verse 9. Nimrod, he was a mighty hunter before Yah. Wherefore it said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before Yah. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Cohane in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and Nineveh, and Rehoboth-ir, and Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah. The same is the great city. And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Paplusim, and Kasluhim, with for the Philistine, and Kaphtorim.
Kaphtorim, those are the Philistine names. A lot of Em and Em and Em. I hear y'all laughing and smiling. But these are their names. These are their names. And you have to realize this is all the seed of Ham. And Ham, Maury, if you would put up a picture which gives us just an idea as to what these three men may have looked like as it relates to their color. In the middle you have Ham here. Of darker complexion. Then you had Japheth over here at the end. Very fair, light complexion, and this is Shem in between. This is what we would this would be our complexion today, and how these three men would have looked as it relates to their complexion somewhat. And so with this thought, we see why today when we look at some of these people in some of these nations, why they still have this complexion, this appearance. This is why, because of what or who they come from, these men.
And Canaan begot Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Abadite, and the Zamarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanite was from Zidon, as thou goest toward Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest toward Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, to Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, in their nations.
And so we see here that Canaanites end up going, where did they end up going? It mentions Admah, Zeboim. It mentions also Sodom and Gomorrah. They continue. This is where they ended up going and living and developing and growing and building families. And these families and cities that they built still carried that evil ruach, that same personality trait of Canaan, who their father was, carrying that curse. You saw what Sodom and Gomorrah ended up being. What ended up happening there. These are the Canaanites. These very same Canaanites, years later in history, we're going to find ourselves inheriting this land. That's right. Because the Creator waited. It mentioned the Creator saw during the time of Abraham, the Most High said, their sin has not yet ripened. He was waiting until he was giving them time. Just like anyone, the Creator can give. This power that we serve is responsible for all of humanity. You can inherit the curse of your father, and still the Creator would give you an opportunity to be different than your father. And when the Creator waited and gave them enough time to change, that's why he said their curse is not yet ripened yet. They haven't reached the point where they should be completely destroyed. So he was giving them time. And as their sin built up over time, then the Creator said, now is the time. When we left Egypt, we had to go into the land of Canaan at that point to destroy the Canaanites because they had reached their peak as it relates to their sin. But here now, they're now a developing nation. And this is what we read of all these Canaanites. These Canaanites today, you won't find them today. You can't point out these Canaanites today in the earth. These nations have been annihilated. They don't exist anymore. So you can't say, okay, well, where's the Canaanite today in the earth? Some nations, the Creator completely annihilated them. Their sin had reached a point where the Creator chose to not have them exist anymore. You and I have been blessed to be amongst one of those, very few of those nations that were able to go through history and remain intact. Because the Creator did this. Even though we went astray from him, the Most High remembered his blessing with Abraham and said, I'll still protect you. I'll still keep bits and pieces of information intact so that when we return, we'll have enough to read and remember who we are and the power that we ought to serve. And we'll be able to go back in the place that we should be in.
And it's Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the elder brother of Japheth. To him also were born children. So God, to him were children born. The sons of Shem, Elah, and Ashur, and Arpachshad, and Lud.
And Ashur is said to be Assyria. You also have Arpachshad is said to be those from Ur of the Chaldeans. This is where Abraham was told to leave.
Right.
Remember, our father Abraham ended up over here, and the Creator called on him and told him, he said, leave here. And he told him, I'm going to take you. He told Abraham, I need you to leave the land of your fathers. The Creator was about to groom him and make him the person that he wanted him to be in order to build a nation of priests from that would serve the creative power of this universe.
Arpachshad, and Lud, and Aram. And the sons of Aram was Uz, and Hud, and Geter, and Mash. And Arpachshad begot Shelah, and Shelah begot Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons.
And so you have to understand, from Arpachshad, it mentioned from Arpachshad, so all those from Arpachshad, his genealogy ended up over there in Ur of the Chaldeans. Then you have Aram. This is the Aramean or Assyrian people. Genealogy of Peleg is not going to continue with Peleg here, but it is from Peleg that our genealogy begins, which it ends Peleg at this point here. It says, for in those days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Yoktan. During the time of Peleg, something took place in the earth. Something took place in the earth that's going to cause the Creator to make or create a separation. And we're going to read of it when we go into the 11th chapter. And this separation made the Creator realize, you know what? Even after giving man this second chance, this second opportunity, they still seem to be going along the same direction. Find themselves gravitating more to do evil than good. And so what I need to do is I need to separate a special seed, a special body of individuals that I feel have a greater desire to do right. And it was the Creator monitoring man at that time, just like he's monitoring people and us today. And so in monitoring us, what the Creator did is he was watching just like he's looking down at us. Okay, the house of brother so-and-so, I'm going to pull them over here. I like how they're carrying themselves. The house of sister such and such, they look like they're coming along too. Bring them over here in a minute. This family over here, I need to move them to the side. They can't seem to find a way. I'm going to put them in limbo over there. Give them enough time to decide which side they want to be on. It was the Creator watching. And then eventually the Creator separated man. He separated the earth. He had to separate our languages. He had to create a division or a diversion in the earth that would make us separate from one another, so that he could have a body of individuals that he would prepare throughout time, moving down that genealogy to be a nation that would represent him.
And unto Eber was born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days the earth divided. And his brother name was Joktan. And Joktan begot Almodad and Seleph, and Habzarmaveh, and Yerach, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Dikla, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba.
And Sheba. These here, and Sheba, it also mentions Ophir and Havilah and Yokbab.
All these were the sons of
Yoktan. These are said to be your Arab descendants, those that were from southern Arabia. These are our cousins. This is why today you find they always say, these Muslims, those Muslims are our cousins. These were all our cousins. Remember, they were all from whose genealogy? From Shem's genealogy. And so everybody from Shem's genealogy didn't turn out to be Israelites. Some of them are our cousins today. But the Creator, even amongst Shem, he had to do a final sifting process and breaking down and separation of genealogy till he got to the purest of Adam's seed. And that's the group, that's the genealogy that he chose to represent him. And this here genealogy that the Creator chose specifically from Shem began from the lineage of Peleg. And so Peleg, it mentioned Peleg here, but it stopped there. Later on, we're going to get back to Peleg and how we get to where we are today, or Abraham's descendants. And this all began through Peleg.
Okay. And their dwelling was from Mishah, as thou go towards Sephar, unto the mountain of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nation.
After their nation. So now we see how all three families were separated. You have Ham, you have Shem, you have Japheth, and then we're now going to be able to pinpoint how we come about as Israelites today, or those that ended up from Abraham's descent. We're going to lead to that point eventually. It mentions these are the families of the sons of Noakh, because it gives Noach's genealogy, or his children. Tamshi.
After their generations, in their nations, and of these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
After the flood. So they're now going to speak in the 11th chapter about this division that took place in the earth. And we're going to see exactly what happened and why the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth decided to separate or divide the earth.
And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. And they dwelt there. They said one to another, come, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, come, let us build us a city, and a tower which is top in heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
So now we have to realize the thought here. And what Ruach was controlling the thought of man here. There seems to be a pattern with the thought of evil and negativity as it relates to Nakash genealogy. And how, when that whole spirit of adversary is placed into the equation, what is its greatest desire? Its greatest desire is always to be powerful, godlike, heavenly. And so, even in today's society, when you have those that are of, trying to be mindful with my words, right? Right, Rita? You have to be careful. You don't want to confuse people. You don't want to come off to be a little too blunt, you know? When you have those that are of the genealogy of Nakash, or the adversary, there's always a thought of trying to gain extreme power, extreme control. Even in this time here, when the earth was separated, the Ruach that was ruling our thoughts as the adversarial spirit was trying to force us, or force man at that time, to create a place that could reach up to heaven. Get up there in the heavens and be like God, like the Creator. And so even our people, when we find ourselves taking on the spirit of adversary, we can be just like that as well. Because that is, the adversary is a spirit, not just a person. And so that spirit can take on any form. That Ruach, if we find ourselves being that, it can be an Israelite too, if we take on the adversarial spirit. Adversary just means against Yah. Anti-Yah, that's all you are. You could be against Yah. Someone of European descent can be against Yah. Someone of East Indian descent can be against Yah. Or they can be for the Creator too. That's why the Creator said, every knee is going to bow and every tongue is going to swear to me. I'm going to be prayer. Every nation is going to be able to come to me. So now, what took place in the earth here was the spirit of adversary overpowered good. And every person was speaking one language. So we all took on one frame of mind. When you have evil in a room, one evil or wicked person could begin to influence the whole body here, to the point where now everything's polluted. And the Creator saw man at that time getting back to where he was prior to the flood. Right. Most High saw a pattern. Here they go again. Gave them a second chance, and before you know it, they back up to their no good doing stuff already. Now they building this tower. I wonder what they up to with this. They trying to get up to heaven. They trying to come up here for. They want up here. Everything for them is right down there on earth. All the beautiful food and everything. And they building a tower to come up here. They doing with all these spaceships and planes. Building all of these, trying to go up to the moon, walk around the moon and see what's up there. What they want to come up there for? What business you have up there when you have to wear all of these suits just to survive? You can't even walk around freely and breathe. You floating all over the place. Can't even stand up and walk. Who want to live up there? We want to see what's out here. We want to know. They always want to know. Curious. Always want to find out what next can we explore. What next can we find out. Into all of this spook and hocus pocus stuff. So the Creator realizes I need to intervene eventually again.
And Yah came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. And Yah said, behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is what they begin to do. And now nothing will be withholden from them, which they purpose to do. Come, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
Now, it mentioned here, it says, come, let us go down. Just as in our Sidrah last week, the Creator said, come, let us make man. And this is one of the reasons why we stick to the thought of that us being a Malachim that the Creator was speaking of. Because the Creator sent his angels down to see what man was doing at that time. And Yah's Malachim can take on the form of a man just like you and I.
That's true.
Walk around just like normal beings and looking at things. They were checking the man out. Looking around. Oh, he seemed to be the brother in charge of this whole mission here. The man in charge is about evil and nothing good gonna come out of this. They brought back word to the Creator. This is what they're doing. This is what they're up to. So when it mentions, and Yah went down, he sent his servants down. These Malachim went down as spies, watching and checking out to see what man was up to at that time. Communicating and interacting with us and realizing that we had no good intentions again. And the Creator had made a promise that he would never destroy the whole earth the way he did before. So the Creator said, I have to intervene a different way this time. I'm going to change their speech. They can't understand one another. They can't function together. What a way to separate us today. Even today we find ourselves the same way. You come in here talking to something, who's that? What you saying? You need to go somewhere else with that. You realize it's the same way today, right? When somebody come in, they're not talking your language or you don't understand them, you can't stand to be around them. And for some reason, how the Creator did it back then, who knows? But for some reason, their language just changed all of a sudden. It could be not just their vocal language, their mindset was changed. The Creator changed a lot of things. It wasn't just their speech, their thought. How they started carrying themselves. They stopped getting along. Hey man, this is not going to work. One person want to build the tower lopsided. Somebody else want to build it straight up. I don't like your plan. This is not going to work. So they started separating. And they always say what? Two cannot walk together unless they agree. So the Creator put discord amongst them. And that discord separated them and caused them to fall off and just stop building their tower. And everybody just went their separate ways. They couldn't get along anymore. There was confusion. And the Creator did this because he didn't want to give them all one mind. Because he realized if evil come together and it has one mind, it can be real evil. Just like good. If we bring good together with one mind, we'll have something real positive come out of that. This is what the Creator is trying to prepare us to be. Influenced by good and right. And build on that. And become great in that.
That's right. Therefore was the name of it called Babel. Because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth. And then from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he begot Arpachshad, 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Arpachshad 500 years and begot sons and daughters.
Now remember, we were already given the genealogy of Shem. But what's happening here is this is being done, this genealogy is being given over, starting from Arpachshad, to direct itself to a specific lineage because we're going somewhere. This book is our history book. This is about us, the Hebrew Israelites. And so that's the direction that this genealogy is eventually going to. How we came about as a people. And so from Arpachshad, we're going to find it started from Arpachshad for a reason. Because Arpachshad is where we eventually beget Peleg.
And Arpachshad lived 35 years and begot Shelah. And Arpachshad lived after he begot Shelah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Shelah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Shelah lived after he begot Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years, so 34 years, and begot Peleg. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years and begot sons and daughters.
And so this is that piece of history we already read about. We read that in the 10th chapter. We read about Eber. We read about Arpachshad, Shelah, Eber, And then it went off in a different direction from Eber previously. But it never mentioned Peleg and his offspring. Here now it continues with Peleg and his offspring, which is where we come into the picture.
And Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. And Peleg lived after he begot Reu 209 years and begot sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years and begot Sherug. And Reu lived after he begot Sherug 207 years and begot sons and daughters. And Sherug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. And Sherug lived after he begot Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terach. And Nahor lived after he begot Terach 119 years and begot sons and daughters. And Terach lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor,
and Haran. That's where this was leading to. This is leading to us, to our genealogy, and this is what this book is about. Which is one of the reasons why many times when we go into this history, which is our history, and we read throughout the Tanakh, and we begin from the book of Genesis, the whole story in the gardens and all those details, many times we find ourselves getting caught up in what happened and who did this and how they did it or why they did it. But this book is leading to one place, leading to a nation that was chosen by the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth for a specific purpose. That purpose is to teach and prepare humanity and help them understand what power in this earth it is that we are to serve, that we are to acknowledge, that we are to praise, and that we are to live for. Remember, I didn't just say to teach Israel, to teach humanity. Because the Creator said every knee will bow, every tongue will swear, and his house will be a house for all peoples. And so, in this book, it leads up to Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And it continues in the 27th verse, leading up to our father Abram, because his name will later be changed to Abraham. And this is where we find our genealogy and why the Creator is going to choose this man, who at this time his name was Abram, to be the one that he would make a nation out of.
These are the generations of Terach. Terach begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. And Haran died in the presence of his father Terach in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldeans.
And so you see they were still living in Ur of the Chaldeans.
And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife, Sidrah. And the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. And Sidrah was barren. She had no children. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sidrah his daughter-in-law, his son, and Sidrah his daughter-in-law, his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
And so Terah, who is Abram's father, he ends up dying, which is going to place Abram as the head of the home, and everyone's looking to him now as the leader or the decision maker. And the Creator is going to call him and tell him, leave the land of your nativity, which is why he's going to end up leaving. And everyone else that looked up to him or saw him as the father or the main figure in the home followed along. This is the hand of the Creator leading to a specific genealogy, a nation that would represent him. What's key here is for us to see the one thing in this whole matter that caused the Creator to start making all of this separation and division here. The very same issue that the Creator saw from the beginning in the garden. The Creator saw that He placed amongst us two options. The option to choose good and evil. And we were constantly choosing evil over good. And so He began to separate man throughout time, choosing for Himself a group or a body of individuals that sought to choose good over evil. And along this process, He found Abraham, who seemed to be the one individual that, in spite of all that was around the evil, he was able to cope and consistently choose good over evil. That's the key word, consistently. He was living in a time where evil existed all around him, and he hadn't been given any law by the Creator to guide him. But it was just something about this man's character. There was something about his morale. He was an ethical man who just decided, I'm not going to do that because everyone else is doing it. I have my own mind and I don't like that there. It's not right to me. And this is what caused the Creator during this sifting and separation process to end up with this particular genealogy and decide this personality, this character is what I'm going to build a nation out of. Not just this man. It was this personality, that character that the Creator built a nation out of. Many of us today are from the same genealogy. If it was about genealogy, we would get a blessing in spite of our character. But obviously it was this man's character that caused the Creator to give him a blessing. And so the Creator said, from him, I'm going to make a nation out of him. We have to now determine, do we still meet that criteria? This very character that the Creator saw fit to make a nation out of. And if you and I do not meet that criteria, we cannot be considered or called children of Abraham and meet his character. Should we be amongst those that the Creator choose to give this blessing to? Because, or would we be amongst those that the Creator would separate and choose someone else from that meets the character of Abraham? The Creator don't see people. He see personality. He see character. He see how we live, how you treat one another. And this is what determines whether or not you and I receive a blessing or not. And so the name Israelite doesn't give you or I an automatic pass.
That's right.
The name East Indian or European or Chinese doesn't automatically mean that they're doomed.
Right.
Who you choose to serve and praise and how you choose to live is what determines whether you or I receive a blessing or a curse. Whether we end up amongst those that the Creator said will be in his house of prayer. And he deliver and save. And the Creator said, I will choose others amongst those that are chosen. You know who those others are? People of other ethnicity and other nations and groups that decide they're going to serve and praise the Creator. They're going to be in this house of prayer that's a house for all peoples. The power of this universe is great. He's awesome. He's fair in what he does. And there's nothing fair about you and I being able to live anyhow, treat people anyhow, and want to receive a blessing. We have to do what it takes to get the blessing, to gain the blessing of Abraham, to gain a favor of Yah, to want to reap the benefits of this blessing that the Most High said would be given to the seed of Abraham. We have to do what it takes, just like you and I have to do what it takes in a world today in order to acquire or achieve any other form of accomplishments. You want a degree, you have to go to college. do what it takes to get that. Study, go through the process. Now when you reap the benefits, you're happy because you put in the work. We have to put in the work to gain Yah's favor. May Yah see our efforts today. May He grant us a blessing. May He remember us this day on this Shabbat. And may He strengthen us in His path. If you would, do you have the honor of standing? May the power of this universe who have the power to bless each and every one of you according to the words of this blessing, found in Numbers, the 6th chapter, and the 24th verse. Yivarek ka Yehovah v'yishmerecha. Ya'ir Yehovah panayo aleka v'yikuneka. Yisa Yehovah panayo aleka v'yasim leka. Shalom. Yehovah will bless thee and keep thee. Yehovah will cause His face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yehovah will lift up His countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Hallelujah! 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 Yochai! 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 Selah. We're going to have an extensive lunch break. Give us a little more time to eat and mingle. Services will resume at about 5:15, and then we're going to